Listen to this.
Was it communicated to Brandon's camp at any point, say in the last few weeks, that he would be expected to practice starting?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into our communication again, but there's, at some point you got to play.
Oof.
John Lynch, nicest man you'll ever meet. That man is tired and fed up. Not because, and it's not just the 49ers. This whole entire saga, I have been checking with people around the league, and they are tired. The teams that wanted to acquire Brandon Aiyuk, teams that were following along in this, where is he going to end up? Brandon Aiyuk wants to be at the 49ers. The 49ers want Brandon Aiyuk. It's that we have not budged from where we knew the situation. He wanted more money. Somebody at some point has to acquiesce. And I don't know who it's going to be, because right now they're carrying more wide receivers on this roster because of his uncertainty, and they have other injuries to Ricky Pearsall and other guys that they've drafted. This is a team that needs him to be successful, but he also he's got to get on the field. John Lynch is right.
Yeah, Pearsall was the first-round wide receiver they took out of Florida this year, who has been hurt basically all of training camp and the preseason. Let me make clear what you're saying when you're talking about the outcome. Someone has to acquiesce. One is him just acquiescing and showing up and playing. Yeah. The second is them giving him more money.
Yeah.
Is there a third one, which is a trade still a possibility?
So that is always on the table. Remember, the 49ers didn't want to trade him, but they said we are open to hear offers. But if you are a team looking to get Brandon Aiyuk, what are you giving up? And so far, none of the offers have been for a wide receiver that they have wanted, and the compensation hasn't been enough. So again, we're right where we started.
Should he acquiesce, D. Wood? What do you think?
Acquiesce to what? I'm going to say the same thing about Brandon Aiyuk that I said about Jamar Chase. That man is sitting back watching all these receivers get the bag. Mm-hmm. Get the bag.
Bag.
Why should he wait?
Bag. See, even Greeny gets
Why should he wait? Like, why should Brandon Aiyuk wait? Explain this to me. Why should he wait?
Because, okay, John Lynch. Brandon, where are you going to have a better opportunity to win a Super Bowl? Where is it about championships? Is it about legacy? There's got to be other, let's run it back.
That Super Bowl is not going to feed my grandchildren.
Listen.
Right? I'm looking at generational wealth. I mean, you know what? A Super Bowl ring is really wonderful, but I 100%, if I'm Brandon Aiyuk, I don't even consider stepping on the field until I have a new contract somewhere. And I certainly don't do it till a week from Tuesday, because they play the Jets a week from Monday.
You see why John Lynch looks as tired as he does? Because that's literally all he's got. Because Brandon Aiyuk understands they're going to play this quarterback, Brock Purdy.
That's right.
But you know who Brock Purdy's favorite weapon is? The weapon that his numbers look the best when he's targeted is me. Mm-hmm. When Debo's hurt and you need a safety net, I'm that guy. So I'm with you, D. Wood. I'm with you. And I will say, both with Jamar Chase and with Brandon Aiyuk, I'm curious how much watching Chris Jones carry this out in Kansas City, missing the first game of the season, and those two sides reaching an agreement on a one-year deal just to get him in the building. I'm curious how much that plays into it as
Brandon Aiyuk should definitely miss the first game of the season. Harry Douglas, you're a wide receiver. What do you think of this?
Well, I would say this. Here's the rough part for the San Francisco 49ers. They had a succession plan for Brandon Aiyuk. The problem is that the Super Bowl window is open right now, and that succession plan cannot stay healthy. And that's Ricky Pearsall. So that's the problem that they're running into. And I would also say this. If they plan on getting back to the Super Bowl, Brandon Aiyuk has to be a part of everything that they're doing. You're talking about the guy that's the explosive pass catcher through the air, and Brock Purdy leans on him. He's the route runner. He's going to take the number one corner. And I'm looking at week 1 versus the New York Jets, and I'm looking at that defense and saying to myself, if Brandon Aiyuk is not on that football field for them, I might take the Jets in that ball game, to be honest with you.
Listen, I mean,
Greeny's like, why wouldn't you take the Jets?
I definitely like the idea of Aiyuk. I mean, we're kiddingly. No, I'm not kidding. I don't want Brandon Aiyuk to play in that game, or Trent Williams, but that's a whole other thing. I'll ask you this simply. Is Brandon Aiyuk being there or not the difference between the 49ers going back to the Super Bowl or not?
Yes.
It is. He's the difference. With an S, without him, no.
Well, I will say this. Trent Williams is more important to the 49ers than Brandon Aiyuk.
More important.
More important. No question about it. Like, has anyone watched preseason, the 49ers preseason? Brock Purdy was getting killed out there, like getting hit.
Offensive line.
Oh, no question. Like they need Trent Williams in the worst way. And if you don't have Brandon Aiyuk, like no, this Super Bowl window we talk about with the 49ers, closed.
I think that's a really important point he's making that Harry just made. Eric, our producer, we'll get to the highlight a little bit later in the show because I think we need to make this point. With the pending contract of the quarterback, of Brock Purdy, the Super Bowl window is right now. Like we talk about teams that are right now, the Jets are an all-in right now.
Yeah.
The 49ers better get it done right now because when Purdy goes from making $17.50 an hour
minimum wage to
what he's going to start getting paid, a lot of these pieces are going to have to go.
And so I just think back to George Kittle standing on the sidelines watching in the Super Bowl when they lost, and he's like, we're going to be back. It took him 4 years to get back. The idea, they have a Super Bowl caliber roster, but you literally need all the pieces, and I think that's why Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are so frustrated.
You got a situation where Dak Prescott has made $157.4 million. They talking about how he gonna command, like the word command should be associated with him. He's gonna command over $60 million. 2 playoff victories in 8 years. From a business perspective, I understand the leverage part. But just strictly in terms of talking football on the field, the nerve that he is in a position to command anything when you have done so little when it really, really counts in the postseason.
Number one.
That is a take.
The nerve of that suit jacket being as loud as it is. I love Stephen A., but he is way off base. If anybody should understand the importance of leverage, it is him. It's what the market says your value is. And right now, the market is saying Dak has a lot of value and leverage in this situation. We talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
It's not the best players always get paid the most. No. Kirk Cousins being repped by Mike McCartney and Dak being repped by Todd France, those 2 agents have played the game masterfully. And that is it. It's not about, that's what the market says. That's what they should get.
Let me let D. Wood get in here because I may have a contrary point of view, but maybe you'll express it first. D. Wood, what did you think of what Stephen A. said?
That was the biggest bunch of mess I've ever heard from Stephen A. Like, come on, man. It has nothing to do with, how many playoff wins. Do you know how many guys that I've seen that hasn't done jack squat in the playoffs and got the bag? Because it's all about timing. Everything's about timing. And you actually took one of my points right away.
What I said.
Kirk Cousins. What has Kirk Cousins done?
What has he done?
Do we look at Kirk Cousins as the guy that's in the postseason, has this big legacy in the postseason?
He has won exactly half as many playoff games as Dak Prescott has.
And
Dak has 2, Kirk has 1.
And we would put Kirk Cousins in the Business Hall of Fame. I would literally give him a gold jacket because of how he's played the game so well. So miss me with all of that.
Fair enough. Since 2020, the 2 highest paid players in the NFL are in this order, Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins. That's all right. So what you're saying is not wrong. Is he going to get the bag, whatever the most expensive bag is? Absolutely. But I think Stephen A. may be making a different point, which is if you're the one who's going to write that check, you have to ask yourself the following question. Am I going to be, someone's going to, no one's debating that. Someone's going to. Am I going to be the one who pays $60 million for a guy who doesn't win playoff games? Or am I going to let someone else do that and I'm going to try and figure out a different way? Like that I think is what he's saying. I don't think Stephen A. is questioning whether Dak is going to get the money. We all know he's going to get the money. I think what Stephen A. is saying is that if he, Stephen A., owned the team, and frankly, someday he may, that he himself might be thinking, you know what? I'm not giving the bag to a guy who doesn't play the biggest in the biggest games. That's what I think he's saying.
And in that scenario, Jerry Jones, like that would be within his right to do such a thing.
What do you think of it? Would you do it?
Would I do it?
If you're the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, are you just saying you're rewriting the quarterback market right now? What is the word? Resetting? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right now. Who's the highest paid guy? 55 million? Whatever the number is. I'm going to give $60 million, 5 years, signing bonus, all that stuff. I'm just doing it now and moving forward. Are you doing it?
If I'm Jerry Jones, probably not. I'm not doing it. Because I talk about with Jerry Jones, what's the one thing we talk about on the football field with Jerry Jones? they know how to identify talent. They know how to identify, they know how to develop talent.
Right.
Okay? They did it with Dak Prescott as a 4th-round draft pick.
Right.
Okay? So they did it. Tony Romo was an undrafted free agent.
Correct.
Okay? So Jerry Jones could sit back and say, you know what? I'm tired of seeing this script over and over and over again. I'd rather roll the dice and go with
what I think
it.
Steve is saying.
You roll the dice. Okay, you know what? Sometimes you're at home and you're like, is this as good as it gets? And I'm still looking, it's your face. Still your face every single day. I'm gonna see what's outside. Then you step outside and you realize, ooh, it's the ghetto out here. It is, the streets are dusty. Your options that you thought you'd have are not as pretty. And now you're missing the old thing. You want the old thing back. So I understand
What the old thing got
point.
you? What the old thing got you?
That's the question.
What the old
is
thing
the
got
new?
you?
See, that's the problem. Y'all think it's better out there. Y'all think it's better out there. Then go, Damien. Go see what's out there.
Is the grass
it's not
greener?
guaranteed.
The grass greener?
The grass is not always guaranteed to be greener, and that is the problem. So you could say, I'm gonna reset it. I'm gonna start again. Jerry is 81, 82 years old.
Right.
If he wants to start with a rookie, he better hit. He better make sure he's in a position to get the top draft pick, the top quarterback in this draft.
Let me get Harry in here because Harry hasn't been in this conversation at all. The point is not whether Dak is better than the option. The point is whether Dak is $60 million better than the option. Because that's the price difference here. And I'm a Dak fan and supporter and have been all along. Harry, final word, go.
If it's me, I'm giving him the money. See, Greeny, there have been plenty of times that I went to Vegas and I was on that craps table and I rolled the dice and a 7 hit. And that means I crapped out. So if you're Jerry Jones and you say to yourself, when you have Dak Prescott and you're able to make the playoffs, you get into the playoffs, you have a chance. Now, granted, I understand Dak Prescott has not performed at the level that everyone expects him to from a playoff standpoint. But if you get into the dance, you have a chance. If Dak Prescott is not your quarterback, you're not getting into the dance. So you don't have a chance at a Lombardi trophy. At least when you're in the tournament, you have a fighting chance. It hasn't worked out well for him, but I think I like my chances at least getting to the tournament and trying to get to the big game and hoist up the Lombardi trophy.